you write on the page number 2, in my opinion, as important as the abstract ideas of freedom of speech, expression, etc. are for the functioning of democracy, it is equally important to look at the responsiveness of the democratically elected government to the materialistic needs of the marginalized people across religions, social groups and geographies. You know, if I take this concept further, the previous governments, their social justice platform was very, very sectional in nature. If you look at the governments in North Indian state, though they fought elections on social justice, it was sectional in nature. It left other communities out, saying that you have already got the fruits of Indian economy. But is it the different style of the Prime Minister's working which is being reflected in the data you are getting from the society? And it is this which the Western surveys fail to gauge, understand, that there is a tectonic shift in which the material and social prosperity is being passed through government policies?
I think there is a fundamental belief in the administration. And of course, I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone, but the more data I see and the more schemes I look at and the way they're getting implemented across the country, the more I feel that the philosophy underlying governance is that, basically, you are attempting to provide basic amenities to everyone everywhere. As the inspiration here is to instill a sense of dignity. Remember when toilets Swachh Bharat scheme was launched, the motivation was not, you were not looking at gender, safety, etc. The motivation was we wanted to be open defecation free. And you saw 100 million toilets getting built within the first few years itself. But the data, when you begin to look at what is the impact it has had on society, more than 20% reduction in crime against women, around 14% reduction in rapes. These are published works. These are data, empirical, rigorous studies that are all published in peer-reviewed journal internationally. So you see the basic belief that if you provide amenities and give dignity through these basic amenities, you are basically doing what the voters have voted you in power for. Remember, in a democracy, the weaker segments particularly, their expectation of the government is what? That you will free us from the daily drudgery of life. Electricity, water, toilets, telephone, right? Cooking gas, bank account. These are very, very fundamental amenities. And that is what I think the Modi administration is doing. It is absolutely meeting the expectations of the weaker segments of the society, and it is doing so with absolutely no discrimination. The administration is not biased in any discernible form. And we are sure of that because this is very large representative data and we find nothing. We find absolutely nothing. In fact, in certain areas, we find minorities doing marginally better. And all in all, there is a reason that this basically reaffirms what we have always known. And but if the experts are serious about doing assessments in the future, they should look at these methodologies rather than talking amongst themselves.
Madam, your paper says a secular democracy in practice, objective assessment of amenities programs in India. Doesn't it bust the myth, because the attack on the present government is that it's secular, it's not secular in nature, minorities are being treated differently, they have a differential way of being responded in by the government. But if you look at the programs, it reaches them, it benefits them, and there is no discrimination within the communities.
Yes. Karthikeya, this is you see what media picks up, the narratives which get created. There is a politics around all of this, but every time when an argument of this nature is made that, look, India is majoritarian, this government is majoritarian, etc., it's done on the back of anecdotes, okay? That this particular person was badly treated, or I was treated badly, etc. The thing about anecdotes is that every anecdote can be matched by an equal and opposite anecdote, right? Which is why we lay greater faith in data and large representative data. Because data is relatively much more objective than these anecdotes. And as I mentioned in the paper, and as you very nicely read out in the past, basically, the beauty of democracy and in the Indian democracy is that everyone has a vote. The poor are expecting something from the government. And no matter how shrill the politics of the elite, and the experts, you're not going to be able to subvert the power of that, the voices of the bottom 20%. And the administration is absolutely responding to those expectations and doing so in ways which does not discriminate across religious, social, or geographic divisions.